Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyber Matters, powered by the Kasuth Podcast Network. I'm your host, Russ Dorsey, a principal and the CIO here at Kasuth in Birmingham. Cyber Matters is where we talk about the technology that matters to ourselves and to our clients and their businesses and families. It's how technology is being implemented and how we're utilizing it to enrich our businesses and how we're protecting ourselves. And in some cases, what we're doing to develop workforce talent and things of that nature. Which brings us to today's guest. I'm pleased to welcome our guest, Renee Bord. Renee is the Executive Director of the Alabama Technology Foundation and also a marketing specialist with the Retirement Systems of Alabama. And welcome, and appreciate you making the drive up. She came up from Montgomery just for this.
I appreciate you inviting me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we're working this episode in quick because it's time sensitive with the big event that's coming up here at the Civic Center. So, but let's talk just quickly as far as introductions about your role with the Alabama Technology Foundation and the RSA, and what you do.
Sure. So my role with the RSA as the technical marketing specialist is I work with our Dexter Avenue data center to try and bring business into our data center. It's a co-location facility. And we have the state of Alabama and other businesses like a major hospital and banks and some schools, and it's basically, for those that don't understand what a co-location is, it's like getting your equipment out of the closet and putting it in our closet. Yeah. And the way we can manage it is we provide the heating, the cooling, and the security, but we do not manage the equipment itself. It's still yours, and it's still your responsibility to manage it. And
I'm actually familiar with that from back when I used to do those sorts of things. It's an outstanding facility, and you're one of the top rated in the state.
Yes, we have everything is N+1 or more. So, and that's the great thing about it is that you know that your equipment is there, it's safe, and most of the infrastructure there is used for disaster recovery.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about the Alabama Technology Foundation and the mission and vision and what you're accomplishing there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Our major goal is to develop the largest Alabama STEM database in Alabama. And we want to be able to go out and get students to enroll into our database that are getting any degree in science, technology, engineering, or math. To provide our business industry a conduit to hire these students for their companies. Our motto is to develop them here, keep them here. Our mission is to support the Alabama businesses by developing our future professionals through academia. The main way we do that is letting the students know that by registering into our database, they will be seen by businesses that help sponsor us. And what the students do is when they enroll into our database, they put in the college that they're going to, they put in their overall GPA, the degree that they're getting, and they also put in whether they're interested in an internship, a job placement, if they're willing to relocate. They also can put in certifications that they may already have or also experience that they may already have. And the great thing about it is that businesses that sponsor our organization, they get to see these students. That database allows them to pull anything up. If they want a certain major, then every student that registered in that in their profile, that major will populate. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what college or university that they go to. Now, if they want to narrow it down by location, they can narrow it down by location. If they want to narrow it down by a certification, they can do that. And it's like the businesses sitting down in front of their desk and going to multiple career fairs at one time.
Right.
And, it's a fan-out situation. The great thing about it on the other end, the students' end, just by registering into our database, it allows them to be seen by multiple businesses throughout Alabama. So it's a fan-out situation for them. It's like I've sent my resume to all these businesses, and that's what's so exciting for the students because they want to be seen. They really do want to stay in Alabama.
Yeah. How old is this program?
Oh, God. I started this program actually about 5 years ago, but no, 4 years ago. But because of COVID, we kind of had to take a long pause,
Absolutely.
get up and start all over again. And so it initially probably is only about now, the stand-up was about almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
And we have over close to 500 students right now throughout Alabama. And we have a student from every university and college right now.
And so it's voluntary for the students. So you're trying to get the word out to the students to sign up for this. But then the corporations that come in, or even the small, I imagine professional firms like us, or the law firms, anybody that's feeling the talent shortage, because the coast, West and East Coast came into the middle, America and just picked all the talent out during COVID as quick as they realized that we're going to have a mobile workforce. So this notion of getting everybody to, stay here where you got family, work here where you're supporting the businesses. This is a win-win, right?
It really is. And the other great thing about it too is if by businesses, utilizing this database, it really gives them an option to do their research and be able to see multiple students throughout Alabama and find out that the talent is here. I can tell you that the biggest issue that we're having right now is in the state with businesses is that when they find these students, they also they run into the issue of, they don't have the experience. Well, and that's the mindset we need to change in the business industry, because in order for us to keep students in Alabama, you have to also accept that on-site training will be needed in order to keep the students here. And you need to change your mindset and know that they do have the training. They spent either 2 or 4 years to get that degree. They've dedicated their time, the hours, and for those that are a little bit older, time away from their own family just to get where they're going. So they are dedicated. They have the endurance to stay there, and they also have the want to accomplish, where they're going right now, and they have goals and they want to stay here in Alabama.
Do you have specific programs already underway, maybe with a specific larger corporation where you're feeding an internship program on an ongoing basis? Are you setting up those kinds of relationships as well? Or
what we've done is we're just now building our database, I guess you could say, of our business industry, so that we can start working with them and collaborating with them to focus on hiring these students for internships, or job placements, and even apprenticeships, so that they can gain the experience, right? So those are in the makings right now, and I'm hoping that we can start getting those more locked in. As far as the support from the business industry, we have support from AWS, Microsoft, Integrated Computer Solutions, Distributed Ledger, DC Blocks, Alabama Power, Trend Micro, SHI, Synovus, Fish Firewall, Hudson Alpha is one of our biggest, Aruba, Hitachi Ventura. I could really go on. And that support came actually from our very first conference that we pretty much opened last year.
Right.
So, so with that support, eventually we will start collaborating with each and every one of them to start, working on getting this set up for the students, because the database was released about 3 months, maybe 4 months ago. So last year was really the initial and the strongest pull to bring these students in.
Right.
And so once we released it, then all the businesses are looking at it for the first time, seeing, what is out there. And so our goal is to, next step, work with these industries to, have them start utilizing it. So.
Yeah. And so it's really right now a ground floor opportunity for these corporations to build this. I'm aware of these programs in other states where you have these longer standing relationships between like the large credit card companies and internships that they offer, and then they work on the scholarship piece of it and things like that. So, it's great to see that here. But STEM is not just the T in STEM is it seems like that's who you've attracted the most of right now is the technology companies and even some national ones. But we have, as far as the science and the math aspect. I don't know. Is accountancy a STEM field? I don't know.
It's math. Yes, it is. It's
math.
The math. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something too. The Alabama Technology Foundation first started off with trying to create storage engineers back in 2007, and that's when I came in. I was working for Gunner Air Force Base as a senior storage engineer, and then we didn't have enough employees to hire, and there was not a school out there that trained storage engineers. And that's how the Alabama Technology Foundation kind of began. And then it evolved, well, we need cybersecurity. And then it evolved and said, okay, we need other areas in IT. And then when it went stagnant, because I had moved out and left the organization. I was just a recruiter at that time, or trying to raise funds. I came back in 2020, and they asked me if I could take over it. So when I did, I looked at it, and I was looking at what the governor was offering. She was really promoting STEM, and I was looking at our name, the Alabama Technology Foundation, and I'm saying we're not focusing on what the Alabama Technology Foundation should be. We should be focusing on what Alabama needs. And so since they did keep adding IT, we need to add the S and the E and the M. Where we stand on the last leg of what Alabama is doing right now. They're promoting it in K through 12, the elementary, their middle school, high school. We take it from there because there isn't really an organization that focuses on the students after they graduate high school. We want to make sure that the student stays in and stays focused in STEM and goes on to college, technical school, universities, 4-year, even the graduate level and on up. And so we want to promote STEM all through their education, but in the same time allow them to be seen by our business industry.
Right. Which and then that way they get this great education in Alabama, and then they get to stay here.
Absolutely.
And stay here and work for great companies.
Absolutely. And we do have great companies, and we have fantastic students out there.
Yeah, and probably one of the best states in the union, by the way.
I totally agree, 100%.
Well, so for businesses to get involved, with the foundation, they would contact you, and I'll make sure your contact information's in the podcast notes. But let's talk just a moment about the technology conference. You mentioned that a second ago. You did have your first conference last year.
Yes.
And it was very successful from what I hear. I didn't make it
was.
down there. So this year you're coming from Montgomery to Birmingham, so you're going to be at the Sheraton Civic Center.
Yeah, the BJCC.
BJCC, thank you. So really tell us what that conference is about. That's and from the business and sponsor aspect, what are you looking to put together this year, or repeat from last year that was successful?
Oh yeah, I wanted to have a group of advisors to help me with an idea of having a conference for Alabama businesses focused on them. We all have conferences that are government conferences and all that. And my idea was, why don't we give them a conference for them, based on them? And that's where I pulled in all the IT CEOs and directors, IT directors, and so forth, because I wanted it to be a technical conference for the Alabama business industry. And they came. It was so funny because it was so easy to get everybody together and agree. This is fantastic. This is a great idea. And they, said we want to call it the Alabama Business Technology Conference. They wanted to make sure that artificial intelligence was involved, biotechnology, bioscience, cybersecurity, the newest technology, the infrastructure or software. And so we gathered all that information up and just blew it out to a lot of Alabama businesses to, see if they were interested. And they were, and we decided we'll do this annually. And it's all about having a conference on technology for the businesses. We would have breakout sessions that would include CE credits and also project management credits. And we would also have keynote speakers. And the proceeds would go to our students. It would help provide scholarships for our students. And so that's how we decided to raise funds.
So it really is a win. I can't see anybody not wanting to get involved in that because you've got this, and from my, perspective as a professional as well, you go to conferences that are usually so narrow in scope. I mean, if I go to a cybersecurity conference, I'm learning about cybersecurity. Frankly, if I'm a vendor at one of those conferences, I'm wanting to sell. I'm wanting to get to decision makers. That's the only people I want at that conference. The decision makers usually aren't there to buy.
No.
And frankly, you got propeller heads running around. They just want to get the technical, chops out of it. I love that this is because STEM broadens it out into the other sciences.
It does.
And then you've got the project management credits. But what I like about this whole concept is the honesty of it, which is, hey, we're going to bring the students in because you do bring students into this. And so, and again, from a potential employer's perspective, they may put a booth there, but they've got to understand, and I think they do, that they're playing the long game of getting their product out there while these students are still coming through the education process, and they're going to remember that in a couple of years when they are the decision maker, right?
And that is true.
Yeah, and so that's an untapped, potential market. That if the vendors see this as an investment, and in supporting this, then they're going to have people later. They will have made these contacts. Plus, plus again, there will be people there attending the breakouts. So is this a 1 day or a 2 day?
It is a 2-day event, September the 14th and 15th.
Yeah, and so somebody you got keynotes obviously both days and breakouts both days. I've seen the agenda; it is pretty phenomenal. You got like 4 breakouts between every sets of keynotes.
That is true. We've kind of taken the agenda out for right now because we're resetting it. I've got some special keynotes that I haven't announced yet. I can tell you that our main keynote speaker will be Scott Ross with Hudson Alpha, and we're excited to have him to present Thursday at our keynote luncheon.
And now Hudson Alpha is
in Huntsville, Alabama, and they are a biotechnology organization.
Yeah. And a very large employer too, right?
Oh yes, they're huge.
Huge.
And they are looking for students, in that area. Well, because they are Hudson Alpha, they're looking for students in all areas, and so our database will allow them opportunities.
Are they Alabama based or did they move here?
No, I think they are Alabama based. They started here in Alabama.
Yeah, but certainly like AWS. Has made a huge footprint in Alabama. They've decided this is one of the states they're going to plant, additional resources at. So for companies coming in from out of state, seeing this kind of program.
AWS has been such a fantastic sponsor of our organization, as well as the Alabama Community College Systems.
Yeah.
And because we're promoting their students, and it's just fabulous about the support we've been getting, not just AWS, Microsoft, and Hitachi, NTT Data. There's so many large corporations that see value in what we're doing, and that's why they want to be a part of it, because they know this is an IT conference. It is a business conference. The conference is, and this is what's kind of confusing for some people, is that, well, we thought it was for the students. No, this conference is a business conference. It is what we do for the students. We allow them to come in on the last day, and we allow them to come free. And we want them to visit the booth so they can understand what the Alabama business industry has to offer, as well as our vendors, what they have to offer our businesses. And because these exhibitors and sponsors, they will have access to our database. And so the students may actually be meeting a future employer.
Right.
As well as one of the sponsor may actually be meeting a future student. But the great thing is about it, the students don't have to bring a resume. They don't have to bring their transcript or anything. It's all on their profile. If by chance a sponsor sees an interesting student, just ask their name and look them up. That's right.
So you've still got, let's see, when I drop this, you'll have about 60 days out.
Okay.
So there's still time for vendors and sponsors to get involved. You've still got spaces available on the floor.
Oh, yeah. We have plenty of spaces available, and we also have plenty of sponsor options to pick from. So most of our booths that we have available are the 10 by 10s, 2,500.
So what are you expecting attendance-wise?
We hope to get about 400 or 500 or more.
Yeah.
The great thing about attendance this year, to attend, it's only $25.
Yeah.
I mean, and that includes the exhibit booths as well as the breakout sessions. If you want to attend any of the lunches or whatever, and all of it, it's like to attend the luncheon, it is $45. And if you want to go to the after hours event on Thursday night, it's an extra $25.
Yeah, so they're able to kind of a la carte it. And
that's it.
But a vendor or sponsor wanting to get involved could do a block of tickets. They could probably well, you're bringing the students in, but I think that was a sponsored thing too.
Yes.
You had a vendor that picked that up. So yeah. Well, that's we're going to break here in just a minute, and then come back and talk about this from the student perspective for another segment. But I want to encourage everybody. Like I said, if you're a vendor sponsor looking to get involved in this or with the foundation, I'll put Renee's contact information and where you can go find out more down below the notes. And certainly, I think again, we've got to invest in Alabama. We've got SLOS Tech coming up here in 30 days, which is about the business startup side of things and about building that ecosystem. But again, I'm thinking about Southern Research that's right down the road. Birmingham's got such a huge med industry, huge healthcare industry. I mean, all of these things and keeping these students engaged here is so important. So thank you for promoting that. And for our listeners, thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. I'm Russ Dorsey again, your host today. This is Cyber Matters, which is powered by the Kasuth Podcast Network, and we will return shortly with episode 2.